What's going on, everybody? I am the Bad Tech, and you are the internet. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about Godzilla Minus One, and man, oh man, that was a trip of a film to say the least. But we're gonna say the most in this video. Godzilla Minus One is the newest entry by the Godzilla franchise, obviously, and is the newest entry by Toho. The last few that you might have seen have been by Warner Brothers Discovery. Now I guess you can, it's Warner Brothers Discovery because the fucking merger, but we don't care about the merger because David Zaslav is a fucking dickhead. That's to say the least. Anyways, Toho has released their first Godzilla film since Shin Godzilla back in, I believe, 2016, and today it's the 70th anniversary of Godzilla this year. Good year to celebrate and release a film by Toho, and they did an excellent job. This film is absolutely incredible. Especially if you're a kaiju fan, I believe a lot of you will enjoy this. But overall, you may not be a kaiju fan, and you might be asking, should I go see Godzilla Minus One? Because there's a lot of people raving about it. It's got like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got like a 97 on the audience score. So people are absolutely loving this film, and I believe it is currently smashing box offices. If I'm correct, I don't know. I haven't seen the reports yet, but it probably is because I saw a lot of people in my theater, and that's really weird for a foreign film. Foreign films, especially around my area, do not get the amount of support they should get, and you know, it's good to see that they're getting it because it means that more people will come. We'll get more films over here. It's gonna be great. If you're not a kaiju fan, I believe you will still enjoy this film entirely. Maybe not as much as the people who do love kaiju films, but you know, I think you really will like it just because there's more aspects of this film than the mindless chaos and destruction by a Godzilla film that you might think of back in like the 1950s in those films, or even now with the 2014 and above the MonsterVerse films. There's, I think, more here than you may think. I love the MonsterVerse, but there's a lot wrong with it. There's a lot of issues that come with the MonsterVerse, and a lot of people don't enjoy those films because of those reasons. That's perfectly valid. So let's talk about Godzilla Minus One. Godzilla Minus One is it's not your typical monster film. Like I said before, it is a completely different beast, and I mean that with pun intended. Sure, Godzilla is the title character and definitely the main focus of the film, but I believe, like I said, there's more to this film than meets the eye. Autobots, you know, all that shit. Godzilla simply serves as a vehicle to get a message across and get a beautiful story really told in the perspective of our main characters. I'm not going to try to name names because I'm going to fuck them up. I hate that kind of aspect of when people are like, I'm not even going to try. But I mean, I want to be as respectful as possible, and I really do not want to disrespect anyone's culture or anything like that. I'm going to fuck up names. I'm gonna fuck up English names, so it's gonna happen. So anyways, I'm just gonna kind of name them off by what their role is. We follow a main character who is a failed kamikaze pilot, which, I mean, I kind of get it. I mean, you don't really want to just dive straight down into your death and blow up. I get it. Failed kamikaze pilot who eventually meets Godzilla after he disobeys his commands and abandons his duty, which is in Japanese culture as a dishonorable thing to do, and it basically means you're shunned for the rest of your life, to not die with honor. But he lands on the island of Oda, I believe it's called, where he meets a Godzilla which looks like a dinosaur, and not in a good way where it looks like a dinosaur, like how like the MonsterVerse Godzilla kind of looks like, but more in like a T-Rex, kind of like Zilla from 1998's Godzilla film from the US. It kind of just looks gross. The CGI looks great throughout most of this film, but the thing is that this is a $15 million film. It looks a lot better than some $300 million films, just want to say that first of all. But the CGI doesn't always match up and always look the greatest in some certain points in time during this film, especially during this opening sequence where we meet our Zilla, really. Our main character, again, does this dishonorably thing, and that's a continuing story beat, how he talks about how he is disgusted really with himself and wanting to die because of his actions, because of his cowardly actions, as he calls it, and how he just kind of let down everyone. And it's really touching. It's a really beautiful story about survivors guilds on his storyline, and I really do love it because they really delve deep into his psyche and how he is feeling, rather than leaving it up to how the audience can like construe his actions, which again, showing not telling is always a good thing, but here the telling here is really impactful in how they did it and how they show his kind of delve into his survivor's guilt, and I really do appreciate it. I do really like how his story is built, and it's wonderfully done. It's really a beautiful story if you just take his story by itself, not only to add Godzilla into it, which is kind of like a reminder to him of what his failures have become. We also have a character who is a mother. She's not really the mother, but she's the motherly figure to a orphan baby girl who parents had died in air raids in World War II. Yes, this does take place in the mid to late 1940s, which I, again, really do love, because typically Godzilla stories take place in the 50s and 60s due to the fact that, like, the bomb went off and that's what triggered Godzilla and takes him time to wake up. I do appreciate that they just said straight up, he appears during the war at the end of it, and then throughout the film he is already out the year after. She's just like, fuck you guys, I'm out now. I'm looking for bodies. I'm gonna exchange hands with Japan. Anyways, so the mother and the daughter, who is lovely, she's so adorable, in this film become this really weird tight-knit family because they don't really have a romantic relationship for most of the film, and they become this nice tight-knit family because she kind of just forces herself in to his house, and then they kind of just live together, and it's really sweet. It's a very adorable family, and that's what I think elevates this much above the MonsterVerse films, because you care for these characters. And that goes not just for these three characters, the daughter, the mother, and now our fighter pilot, but also the supporting characters on our fighter pilot's new job, which is to disable mines in the Atlantic Ocean that were set by Japan in the United States during the World War II. They were set out to disarm all these, and the crew there is so good. I love them. They have this brotherly bond. They have so much fun. They care for each other really deeply, and you can see that they don't judge our fighter pilot for leaving. Obviously they're a little shocked by it because, you know, dishonorable thing, but like, I really do appreciate that they the relationship between all three of the four men. There's four men. All four of the men, and it's really sweet. And you care for them deeply. They find Godzilla, who is now his full form, not the dinosaur form that we saw back on the Oda Island. This time he is more of his normal look, not the MonsterVerse look where he's like big and beefy all the way through, like he's a big chunky boy. This is more his classic design, big base, slender body with more like a bulldog type head. Man, he looks great. I don't know if they use like scale figure or if they used like bodysuit like they did back in the 50s. I really don't think they used the bodysuit, but whether it was just completely CGI. But he looks immaculate now. Like I said, with the dinosaur design, I did not like it, but this design is awesome. I think he's so badass looking and so scary looking. I really do appreciate the design they went with. Anyways, that leads to our Godzilla basically invading Tokyo or Ginza, which I only know from Persona. I don't know if is it like a section of Tokyo or is it part of Tokyo? I don't know. I don't know enough about that, but I just know that there's a Ginza line in Persona 5, so I'm just gonna go off of that. Godzilla does his best thing. Honestly, it's one of the things that's always a bright spot in the Godzilla film, especially the new ones, because the Zilla film only did fire breath, and they call this one heat breath, but I really don't see it as heat breath because there's a fucking nuke he sets off essentially. So like the design and how they did the nuclear blast breath is awesome. Instead of having him charge up, where like you can kind of see like lights kind of go through him, and it kind of has like this thing where it pops out the spikes, and it looks awesome. It's dope as hell. But usually it just a blast from inside him, but it really seems like he's just sucking in all like the molecules and stuff like that and creating a nuclear explosion through that breath. But it doesn't blow up like right in front of him. It blows up with whatever target he hits, and it's massive. It's very much a nuclear explosion. It tears through the town, fighter pilot, and that creates more survivor's guilt for this guy, and it really makes it really impacts it, because not only does now he have survivor's guilt about A, World War II, B, Oda Island, and now C, the Ginza attack. So now he's really just pissed about Godzilla. Godzilla is a constant reminder of his failures in war, in life. So that leads up to an awesome finale, which again I'm not gonna spoil much about the film and just kind of just hit the points about it. But the finale is awesome. It's a very unique way to try to defeat Godzilla, I will say that. But it's just awesomely done. It's very and the ending of the movie is very touching, because of just how you're relieved that these characters lived, and that's a big thing, that you want these characters to live. You don't want them to die. And that's strange for a monster movie. You want these people to usually die in a monster movie, or you just don't care for them if they die. That's the issue with the MonsterVerse films and previous kaiju films you may have seen, is that we really don't care for these characters. But in Godzilla -1, they do it excellently. They develop these characters, and they develop the relationships so fucking well that you can't help but love these characters, and I very much do love these characters a lot. And the ending of the film is so touching, and it is awesome at the end. I absolutely love this film. If you go in with kind of a blank mind of not knowing what a kaiju film is, and your preconceived conceptions of a kaiju film, which basically I did, because again, it's a Toho film versus a WBD film, so I was very much looking forward to the difference in how they make the things, and they definitely did that through the relationships of the human characters, which again, massive props to, because when you have the main character of Godzilla, he is now just the vehicle to get that story across, and I love that. I think that's how you should do it. If you want to bring human characters into a Godzilla film, you make Godzilla the vehicle to their story. It's not Godzilla being the main part of the story. He's just a vehicle in this film, and that's not a bad thing. He's awesome in this film. He's dope as fuck. His design is amazing. There's nothing bad about it. I love that thing, but using him as a vehicle was an excellent choice, and it made it to an excellent film. To pull a line from Martin Scorsese, it's not the roller coaster you may assume it is. It is actual, like, deep dive cinema, and you can enjoy both. I'm not saying that you can't, but that whole debate about is the MCU cinema, yes it is, but like I'm saying, like, this is deep dive cinema. This is your movie bro type cinema, at the same time as also incorporating those blockbuster effects, and I love it. I think that this is the correct way that we should be doing blockbusters from now on, is to, yes, have these big awesome events and everything like that, but make sure that these characters are the vehicle to a story that needs to be told, that is deeper than, hey, we just want to have big explosions and have an awesome, like, connected universe. You can do that at the same time as having very touching stories and having very like, I don't know, there's something about this film that it hits more than just like your feels. It hits more like in the depths of your heart, and just kind of like the relationships are very much I think the highlight of the film, in my opinion. So if you are looking for 2 hours to kill, and you're looking for a little more than, you know, your MCUs and stuff like that, Godzilla -1 is where it is. And if you're very worried about like the subtitle gap or whatever it is, I believe Bong Joon-ho, who did the film of Parasite, and I believe he did Train to Busan. I could be definitely wrong with that last one, but I definitely know he did Parasite. Had a famous saying about, like, after you get over the 1-inch hurdle, you're open to a whole new world of stories, mythology. Just you open yourself up to a whole new media, and really, I believe this is a good entryway to get into the new medium. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm the Bad Dick, and you are the internet. Merch is in the description below. Let me know what you thought about Godzilla -1 if you've seen it, or if you're gonna see it now, because, you know, it's Godzilla. He's dope as fuck, and this film is much more than Godzilla. So, but yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye bye.